A world away from Australia, he dazzled scouts with behind-the-back passes and uncanny court vision. The hype had increased. One scout is even likening him to Luka Doncic. For good reason, LaMelo has an extremely tight handle and is a gifted passer. He is creative, flashy, an instinctive playmaker. The stuff I see is NBA stuff. His IQ is amazing, says Aaron Brooks, the 10-year NBA veteran who played alongside LaMelo on Illawarra until he tore his Achilles in late October. There's no doubt about it, he's ready for the NBA. His ceiling is so high. The first time LaMelo met Aaron Brooks, Brooks told LaMelo, "Your brother's really good," referring to Lonzo. LaMelo stared at him and said, deadpan, "I'm better than him." He also believes he can play in the NFL right now. "Swear to God, I can be an NFL quarterback." Any such dreams were squashed, though, when LeVar said the fashion-conscious sneakerhead teenager would have to closet his sneakers and wear cleats all day every day of 9th grade if he wanted to play football. LaMelo played with the Hawks through most of the 2019 and 20 season before suffering an injury that put him out for the rest of the season. So he decided to call it quits and prepare for before the NBA draft that was supposed to be in June but was halted till November due to COVID-19, but he was sure to be one of the first names called in the draft. Wollongong, about an hour and 15 minutes south of Sydney by car, has never landed a prospect of that caliber. This is definitely unprecedented, Hawks general manager Matt Campbell says. The Hawks are the NBL's smallest team and they don't have a history of success. They're 2-8 this season. It seems strange that LaMelo didn't choose a bigger, more competitive squad such as the Sydney Kings, where he could have played alongside former NBA #1 overall pick Andrew Bogut, or the Perth Wildcats, the 9-time NBL champions. "I just didn't want any distractions," LaMelo says. He can snake his way onto the paint and handle physicality despite his lanky, still growing 6'7" frame because he's crafty. It is easy to get pickpocketed at his size, but LaMelo rarely loses the ball. He has struggled in Australia in terms of shooting percentage, but his tremendous upside is clear, says Hawks head coach Matt Flynn. Can you imagine him in 4 years? LaMelo lived with Jermaine Jackson, his mentor and manager and former coach at Spire Institute, but LeVar and the rest of the family, minus Lonzo, were there filming episodes for their Ball in the Family Facebook reality show. Even without them, LaMelo was followed like a Kardashian. Against Melbourne United, one man dodged security, reached the door leading to the locker room, and banged again and again, screaming for LaMelo. For LaMelo, this is the same script, different continent. "People done made money off this kid for years," says Jackson, who played in the NBA from 1999 to 2006. "I don't really want to use the word, but it's damn near like he's a prostitute." For LaMelo, home is wherever he happens to be. He is 18 hours ahead of his friends back in California, but at least people here speak English. At least Wollongong is much warmer, much more cosmopolitan than the freezing rural town of Prienai, Lithuania. But days here are just as monotonous. Weights, practice, working out, video games, napping, eating, then wait for time to die, he says. People think playing overseas is easy. It's not. He doesn't complain though. He learned not to as a child. Most days in middle school, LaMelo would run hill after hill in Chino. As the sun beat down his back, sometimes he wished he could hang out with his friends and play NBA 2K, relax. But he couldn't. He was supposed to go to the NBA, and his brothers were too. "You weak as hell. You think you good, but you ain't," Lonzo would scream. Battling one-on-one in challenges laced with love, exhausted, playing against people older than him, LaMelo wanted to quit at times. Moments like, "Man, I'm done, bruh. I'm not trying to do this," he says, but at the end of the day, my dad was like, "What else you gonna do?" to be honest. LaMelo never had time to contemplate. LeVar pulled him out of Chino Hills High in his junior year, and he had to leave his friends behind and head to Lithuania, and then Australia. "People don't know how much he sacrificed," Jackson says. "I thought I was going to do 4 years at Chino Hills. I thought I was going to go to USC, and from there go one and done. I just saw life different," he says. Not being a normal kid, not going to dance parties, not going to school. He doesn't know whether that's good or bad, he adds. "I don't know any other way." But now, after the unconditional teenage life of LaMelo Ball, he was drafted number 3 by the Charlotte Hornets, and his NBA journey has started. He's currently not starting, but we expect it to change as is presumed to be the new face of the new Charlotte Hornets.